You are now listening to the Dad Rules Podcast with your hosts, Mario E. and Kid.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Dad Rules Podcast, where we help you dad better. I'm one of your hosts, Mario E. and Kid. What's going on?
Nothing much. Glad to be on the pod. What you got going on?
All right, so today's topic is going to be misery loves company. Misery loves company. Want to start us off?
Yeah. I don't know how I really want to address this because, like, part of it, I just want to just say, like, that sounds like a hater to me. But, like, people do, man, like, they'll see you being happy and you good, and then they try and mess stuff up for you so you can be mad or feel bad, like, with them. I don't know, like, the earlier you can identify those people and separate yourself from them, I think that's better off you would be. I don't know. I think, like, when it comes to our kids, I think that's when the hard part comes in, because you can see, like, when you growing up yourself, you can't see all that stuff all the time, but you learn over the years and you get better and better with it. But, like, how do you let your kids sit through that? You know, how do you let them have somebody around them that you know doesn't have their best interest or wants to pull them down to their level?
Right.
How do you sit back and just let them say, well, okay, well, I'm just gonna let them learn on their own, or I hope they catch on? I mean, to me, I feel like as parents, we need to advise our kids about who they need to be around and what they need to be watching out for, even
Absolutely.
if they don't believe it, because a lot of times they're not gonna believe it. They be like, no, they all right. But, you know, just hope that they see it for themselves. And
in due time.
Yeah. And they're gonna get hurt anyway when they really find that out. But the earlier they can find out, the less they will get hurt behind it. But it's hard. It's hard to even talk to people when they're grown and tell them, look, man, that person's not for you. Like, you need to snap out of it. And they just can't see it. And sometimes they don't see it until 10 or 12 years later. And they're like, yeah, I do see it was some hate there. That's why they were acting like that. And sometimes people can't be happy for you if things are not working out for them, which I don't think that's a true friend. But I mean, you see it all the time, where because things are not going well for them, then they try and sabotage your stuff. And I don't know, like, even with my wife, like, I felt like early on, like, she would always give people the benefit of the doubt. And, like, over the years, it's sad because I feel like that was a good characteristic she had. She always saw the good in people. And then, like, over the years, slowly but surely, she was like more and more about not having confidence in people like that. And just, like, it's sad, man, when you see that process. It's like, I told her, I was like, honey, you don't give people the benefit of the doubt anymore. She was like, they don't deserve it.
Oh, man.
And I was like, they really, but it is true, though. It's true, because, you know, some people, they really don't deserve the benefit of the doubt, because man, once you get older and you can see stuff, you like, yeah, they probably did it. Once you start finding out their mannerisms and how they're acting, how they handle other situations, you see it and you say, no, that's what it is. Unless you convince me otherwise, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, people gonna be people, man. You can't blame them for being who they are. And if you want to be a part of their lives, you're gonna have to, you know, accept them for who they are.
Right.
But I've kind of always been like that. I think I got hurt early, like in my childhood with stuff like that. And then, you know, in my early adulthood, you know, you have issues with people like that and they show their true colors to you. And that stuff just make you hard, man. It make you hard. It make you guarded. It make you not trust really easy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't know. I've tried to get better with it, but
Yeah.
people, man, people when they're not happy, that's why I don't really like being around people like that. Because some people, when they're not happy, man, they just try and pull you down. They try and pull you down with them, and I ain't got time for it.
Yeah. I know one of the things I think about is, you know, as a dad, and I think you were explaining this about, you know, your wife, that sometimes, you know, experience can kind of show you that, hey, certain people, when they do certain things, they really don't mean you any good. Mm-hmm. Right. And so like when I'm giving advice to my kids on certain things, you know, I have, you know, kind of the gift of experience, you know, to be able to say, I've seen that before. And maybe that person doesn't have all together, you know, great intentions or whatever. And, you know, it comes more so, I'd say, with my son, you know, and I'll tell him, you know, hey, you got to make sure you're watching the company that you keep. You know, some people don't mean you good, son. You know, they want to be around you because for whatever reason, you know, they think you might, you know, because they see you with a pair of Jordans, they think you got money or something, or they think, you know, because, you know, you this or you that, and they really don't mean you any good. They're not really true friends, you know, and you got to be very, very careful and very selective on who you calling a friend. And sometimes, you know, right now it is difficult to tell a 12-year-old who, you know, all they know is, you know, hanging out, laughing and joking and playing video games or whatever the case may be, and you have those common interests. Oh, that's a friend. That's not necessarily the case all the time, right? Because, you know, kind of like what you said, some people are happy when they find out that you're in a bad situation just like them. That's what it is, right? And so it's unfortunate that it's like that. But one of the things that, you know, I try to do, you know, and not only explaining to my kids those types of things, but also just in my own walk or whatever, you know, I try to be around people that's going to be happy when I got something positive or something good going on in my life, that's going to be happy with me, you know, and if I am down, if I am going through something rough, they're going to try to help me out of it, just like I'm going to try to help them out of it, you know? And so those are the people that you need to be surrounding yourself with, because miserable people, you know, they can bring you down, man. They can. And if you're not, you know, another thing I think about all the time, you know, we said it on here, you know, iron sharpens iron, you know? And so if I'm not strong enough, if I'm not already iron, then I can't be sharpening somebody else. So I don't need to be around people who are miserable. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I'm not strong enough, you know, then I don't need to be around some miserable type people. I need to get myself together, you know, and latch on to some people who can kind of help build me up, and then I can maybe help somebody who's miserable. But until then, you know, I probably need some alone time. But yeah, man, it's a sad situation, man, that we live in, that some people, you call them haters at the beginning, but they're just like that, man. And it's terrible.
It is terrible. It is so terrible.
Yeah. That's what they live for. They live for to see someone else fail and to somebody else fall. It's crazy, man. But you know, I'm just I'm just glad that I'm not like that. And like I said, you know, as a dad, you know, I'm constantly trying to teach my kids the same thing, you know, constantly trying to do that, that not everybody means you well. You know, everybody that smiles at you doesn't mean you well. Everybody that you have the same interest with doesn't mean that they're your friend. And you have to be very selective of the friends that you have and the company that you keep.
And I'll tell you too, like misery loves company. I'll talk about this like even with marriage, man. You wouldn't believe how many people talk negatively about marriage and how much they talk so negative about marriage that they discourage other people from getting married. I remember me and my wife been married for 10 years this May. And I remember when we got married, well, we were ready to get married or we had just got married or whatever. Anyway, I was talking to somebody and she was like, yeah, I heard that you got married. And I said, yeah, I got married. And she said, yeah, I was talking to somebody else. Or I was talking to such and such. And I told them that you had got married. And they said, what he go and do that for? And I'm like, you are just a negative person. Bro, just because evidently it didn't work, marriage didn't work out for that person. And I'm like, you picked the person you married. But like, even if something didn't work out for you, why would you go and discourage somebody else from doing it? Or make a negative comment about them getting married? Like, marriage was one of the best things I've ever done in my life, period. You know, and to think that if I had heard somebody say that before I got married, then it would have gave me second thoughts to say, I don't know if marriage is for me or if it's something that I should do. And it's just crazy. And there's so many levels to, you know, misery and people not being happy for other people. And people hide it too. Sometimes they hide it because they don't come around. And that's the sad truth. Is like some people, because things are not going the way they want it to go in their life, they will stay away from you because of the success that you have. And I think that's just the dumbest thing in the world. It's like, man, just be happy for me in this moment. Right now it's my season, but the next season could be your season. Like, absolutely. If you do everything you're supposed to do, things are going to happen. Success is going to come as long as you keep working hard and doing what you're supposed to do. It's going to come. And really, when you think about it, what's in our lifetime, what's going to be 6 months? What's going to be a year or two out of your whole life? And you're going to sit here and be upset about it and not go somewhere. And then, you know, in a year from now, you don't even know, but, you know, your blessing is going to come in a year or whatever. And now you done took that whole year and you won't go around your friends and all that stuff because you are not where you feel like you should be in your career, or things are not working out like you want it to work out. So just the sight of somebody else makes you sick to the stomach. And you just can't do it because your mental can't handle it. Who cares? I mean, really, who cares how much money this guy's making or how much? Stop pocket watching, for one. Stop pocket watching. Like, our goal, our end goal as far as finances is to obtain wealth and financial freedom. Financial freedom may be one number for me. Financial freedom might be another number for you, but we both trying to get there. What difference does it make how we get there? Yeah. You should be you should be pushing for your boy to get there. So when you get there, both of y'all can be chilling. Like I said, what good is sitting in first class if my homeboy can't sit? All of us need to try and make it. Yeah. And if you make it 5 months after me, so what? If you make it 5 years after me, so what? We both gonna be sitting in first class. We both gonna be sitting down there chilling on the beach at the Bahamas. we both gonna, you know what I'm saying? We both gonna have financial freedom. We both gonna have our stuff straight. Like I feel like that's how your mind should be, especially when it comes to your boys. Like,
yeah.
that junk, it's just dumb to me. I don't get it.
No, yeah. Something else that you said, I just thought about it, right? But it's so many people, because misery loves company. It's so many people that haven't chased their dreams. It's so many people, because misery loves company, they didn't get married. They may be, in their 30s, 40s, or 50s, never got married because of someone turned them off to it, because someone who had a bad experience with something, and they just, kind of tainted their perception of certain things, and that's terrible, man.
Oh,
It's terrible. It is. It's terrible, man, that those things happen. That someone, when you share your dreams with someone, and they, basically say, oh man, that's this or that's that, and you shouldn't do that, and because that person may, in their heart, may know that if you do that, you're going to be better than them, or they may think you're better than them. And then, so they try to steer people away, and like, oh, you should do that. Oh, that's corny. Oh, that's whack. And it's just, it's sad, man. It really is. It's really sad that, people, because of their own bitterness and things that they didn't get right, instead of helping the next person to say, hey, let me explain this to you. This didn't work for me, but it maybe can work for you. This is what I had happen, but instead they just, talk so negatively about certain things that some people just give up and say, oh, well, I respect kid, and, he must know, so I'm not gonna get married, or I'm not gonna take this business venture because, he said it didn't work for him. Maybe that was for you. Maybe you weren't even supposed to do that, and so, or not supposed to do that at that time, or maybe you just made a mistake and you got bitter about it, and then now your bitterness has jumped on me,
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I don't know, man. You just, yeah.
I remember, man, I remember early in my career in education, I remember talking to a guy, and it was like my dream teaching job. And I was inquiring about it, because when you see somebody and they're in that position, you ask them questions and stuff like that. And when I asked him some questions, I was like, yeah, that's really what I want to do or whatever. He was like, yeah, it's hard to find jobs like this, but you probably want to try doing this, this, and this. It's like you can get a job way easier doing that. And I was like, but that's not what I want. You got it. Why can't I get it? And you wouldn't believe like how many, you said about the businesses and stuff, you wouldn't believe how many horror stories you will hear in the world of real estate alone. Oh, my uncle, man, he got in a bad deal, man. Somebody messed his house up, and man, he ain't got nothing now. And he said, man, don't ever do that. Man, look, y'all better stop being scared out here, or with a food truck or something like that. Somebody said, man, I got one bad review, and my cousin, he got one bad review, and they shut the whole thing down.
Yeah.
Okay. You keep on living your life based off of what other people say. Go out there, do what you want to do. It's always going to be naysayers. And I will say this about my dad. My dad has been in different business ventures before in his lifetime. And one of the ventures that he has been into, I had gained interest in it. And he told me, he said, I wasn't successful in this business because A, B, C, and D. So if you want to be successful in it, then you need to redo A, redo B, redo C, and redo D. If you can do that, then you will be successful in it. But that was the mistakes I had. And then I had other stuff going on. So I never was able to go back and fix the problem. So I just left it alone. I'm not going to tell you that this is a bad idea because it works. But I didn't, he felt like his life was pulling him in different directions. So he didn't really pursue that, to the end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He kind of just walked away and just left it alone. But as fathers, that's how we have to teach our kids is that, yeah, son, it didn't work for me. And that goes with sports, that goes with academics. I didn't take my academics serious at an earlier age. I wish I had did that. So that's what you need to do. If you want to go to the best college or whatever, this is what you need to do. If you want to be successful in basketball or football, you need to be working out every day. You need to work more than everybody else. I didn't do that. That was the reason why I wasn't as successful as I could have been. And then, like I said, in business, if you have a business or something that you did and it didn't work, teach your son what you did wrong, so they don't have to go through those growing pains.
Right. I think that was what you just said was a perfect example of how a father should speak to their children about, maybe a misstep that they had, because I can remember a time I had recently had just read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I had talked to a coworker about real estate. Mm-hmm. And this particular coworker had a couple of houses and it didn't work out for that person, right? Mm-hmm. And the way they trash real estate, getting into anything real estate related, was just like, hey, you want to stay far away from that because it doesn't work, and you have this to worry about, that to worry about. And those are things, like I said, if you're not of a certain ilk or a certain mindset, it can crush your dream, and you may never ever do that. And that could be something that could be very lucrative for you, But yeah, man, I just try to make sure, man, that I teach my kids the right thing to do. Like you said, if I did make a mistake, or if I failed on something, explain to them why it didn't work out for me. I think that, when we're teaching our kids, they can learn, from my successes just as much as they can learn from my failures. There's a good amount of experience that you can gain by learning from someone's failure, as in addition to how they succeeded, especially if they're willing to give you that particular advice in a game and you're willing to listen. Absolutely.
I agree with that 100%. Well said. You got anything else?
I don't.
All right. Well, we thank you guys for listening to Dad Rules Podcast. We want you to like, subscribe. Hey, got the merch. Check them out.
Got the merch, baby. Got the Dad Rules Podcast hoodie.
Let's do it. We're going to have more stuff coming out. Yeah. We're going to be showing it to y'all. So y'all keep listening, keep subscribing. Download those episodes. All right. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Dad Rules Podcast with your hosts, Mario E. and Kid. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, follow and like us on Facebook and Instagram. You can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Breaker, and Player FM. Until next time.